Hi, my name is Pike Beck Andersen and welcome to this video about how to use Version Manager for Microsoft Dynamics Nav. This video does not show how to install or set up Version Manager. Please refer to our previous videos for information about that. These are the topics that I'm going to demonstrate in this video. It revolves around monitoring the databases and giving a signal to the IT manager of the company if any of the objects have been changed. Let's first check out the setup of Version Manager. The place to do that is on the Version Manager Role Center. And notice that you can see that there have been no object changes today, some this week and some this month. Also notice that access to Version Manager setup can be done directly from the Role Center. Opening this setup, we can see that there are two databases that are being monitored. That is the development and the testing environment. We can see that both databases are version 2016. They are both installed. And we can see that the objects are already synchronized. Another thing in here is that it's possible to export the license file from the database. If the license file is stored in the database, it will be taken from there. Otherwise, it will be taken from the SQL Server. And it can be stored as a normal FLF file and be imported in any other database. In order to test Version Manager, I'm going to import a FOB file into the development database. And I do that by closing this, opening my development environment. We can see up here that the development environment is pointing to the development database. And what I do now is I import a FOB file. This is a rental solution I made for demonstration purpose only. We'll say yes to this. We will force it. And lastly, we're going to synchronize. And now everything has been imported. Created 8 pieces. So now we have here our rental solution, which consists of 8 objects. Now, in order to see how that looks in Version Manager, we'll go back to the Version Manager Role Center. And we can see here now the object changes today are 8, and these have also changed. If we click on the tile, we can see all the objects that have been changed. We can see the change type. We can see the date of the object. And we can see which date the object was handled. We can also see which user handled the object. And that's it. If we go back to the Role Center, we can see here at the Version Manager objects. In here we can see the development database. We can go up here and look at the handle date, and we can type today in here. In here we can see that these are the objects that have been handled today, which is the same as what we saw before. Now, if somebody was to make a change in one of the objects, we can start out the development environment. Go to the table. In the table, we make an extra field. Like that. And of course, go to the code and add some documentation. And then save and exit. If any other changes are made to the object, like for example changing the version list, that will also be registered as a change. And now we can go back to our Role Center. And we can check in here. And we can see now that our table has been changed twice. One is just the version list and the other one is in here. Another place to see the changes is by going back to the role center, and we can go to VM objects. I can filter for today. I can go in here and I can view the version history of this specific object. And now we can see that we have 3 versions. It was inserted and modified twice. If I want to see the changes between the two, I can mark the 2. I can click on compare object. Now I can see down here my new field and my changed documentation. Now this functionality is only available if the license includes either a solution developer, application builder, or a developer's license. This also applies to another function, the function where I can select a version and export as text, and then it will be saved as a text document and can import it into another database. In all editions of Version Manager, it's possible to restore a previous version of an object to the database. In this case, I'm going to restore the original object, which is version 1, and I click the restore object up here, and the warning that appears tells me that I'm about to overwrite the object version number 3 with version number 1. Also, the object that will be restored uncompiled, and that means it's inoperable until it's been compiled. Also, in order to restore the object, I need to confirm that I have read the documentation and that I accept the risk of restoring objects. Now, what could the risks be for restoring objects? Well, if the object is a page or a report based on a previous version of a table that consists of fields that are no longer present in the active table object, then the page will not be able to run. Now, if the object is a table, it's a little more difficult. If the existing table consists of a number of fields and the restored table consists of the same fields except one, then all the records, when they are compiled with force, will lose the information that are in this case, address 2 field. Therefore, it is crucial that before restoring tables, you have read the documentation about what the consequences can be of restoring a table object. After clicking the accept checkmark and click yes, the object is now restored in the database. Going back to the development environment, we can see that the object has now been changed, so that now the object is back to the original date and time. And if we check the object inside, we can see that the description field has gone, the documentation is gone, and that the object is now uncompiled. In order to use the object, it's now necessary to compile the object with force. If you want to know more about Version Manager, please don't hesitate to contact us on the contact information below, or you can go to our YouTube channel and watch some of the other videos about Version Manager. Thanks for attending, and don't forget to subscribe.